Susie from the pub, she's there. And Brother Matthew through the COVID secure glass.
Yes.
Today's comes from Thomas. Thomas, thank you very much indeed for sending in this. Father Simon in the Confessional Collective. Back in the summer of 1982, I was a young apprentice TV engineer working for the family firm, having recently finished school. I was attending day release at college, which you spelt wrong, but anyway.
Okay.
Should have stayed an extra day at college.
Yeah.
1 day a week and then learning on the job the other 4 days. And as I couldn't yet drive, I was buddied up with young Paul. Although he was called young Paul, he was actually older than me. But on one of the warmest days of the summer, we'd been working in our shorts and England shirts, as this was the year of the England World Cup squad.
Of course.
And their foray to Spain, and their, this time, more than any other time, hit in the top 40. Which I have to say, I'm very glad we don't play, because
it's not very good.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Utterly awful. Anyway, in 82, we didn't know such things. Young Paul knew the area well and suggested we should stop off after a nice little shop that sold ice creams just down by the side of the local church. Sadly, the shop has now gone, but back then it was a quiet little lane where we were able to park up to take a well-deserved break, having restored order to the townsfolk's TVs and video recorders. Different times,
yes.
1982. Imagine trying to get your video recorder repaired now.
No.
I offered to pay and fetch them whilst he turned around, but young Paul, who was 5 years older than myself, parked over to the right with the driver's door by the pavement facing down the lane and said that I should wait in the car while he went and got a couple of these ice-cool treats. Whilst I was waiting in the car, a bit of a traffic jam started to form alongside us, boxing us in. But we're in no rush, I thought, especially when I noticed that the car next to us in the queue had two very attractive young ladies inside.
Mm-hmm.
Both were blondes, and I mused how blondes wear black clothes to show off their golden locks. It was also at this point that young Paul returned with the ice creams, and the young ladies spotted this. Being a very, very hot day, both cars had their windows down, and one of the young ladies shouted, "Hey!" "Well, hey," I said back. "What have you got there?" said one of them. "An ice cream." I said, "This is top dialogue, by
Yes,
the way.
brilliant.
It's an ice cream." I said, quick as a flash.
Yeah.
I was super smart.
Yes.
Can't smell college, but anyway.
No.
"Give us a lick," says one of these women in the car. Now, I have to say, as a 16-year-old lad, I was enthralled at these older girls who could drive paying me some attention. Hello. Also, not knowing what to say, I was like a deer in the headlights. I thought sharing an ice cream was a very unhygienic thing to do, share ice creams. Think of all the germs. But on the other hand, she was very beautiful. It's quite a dilemma. I was torn. I mean, colds, coughs, flu and diphtheria all need to be considered.
Yeah, they do.
But also, she could be my future wife. I could be looking at the mother of my future children.
Unlikely, but yeah.
I handed my ice cream across between the cars and said the only thing that came to mind, which was, "Well, you wouldn't be so hot if you weren't all dressed up on one of the hottest days of the year." That was quite clever. "Right," said one of them, not responding with the cool chat that I was hoping for. "We're just very hot, that's all," she said. "But look at us," I said, "we're in shorts. You'd be much happier if you weren't all, dressed up in jackets and hats and everything."
No.
Meantime, the jam was just getting longer and longer and longer. I paid no heed. I was transfixed. They then tried to get young Paul's ice cream as well. But he said, "Did you see Brian Robson's goal against France?" Now, this was a great line, I thought.
Yeah.
But our new foxy friends looked totally unimpressed. "The ice cream shop is just there," he followed up with, "but you might make a mess on your fancy clothes. I'd recommend the blackcurrant mivvy." Again, nothing came back. However, the jam was easing, the cars were on the move, and the girl said suddenly, "Oh, we're going." "Cheer up, love," said Paul.
Okay.
And then the penny dropped. The jam started outside of the church. It was caused by the hearse that had been offloading a technical Undertaker reference, I think.
Yeah.
As we sat there, ice creams melting in our hand, the occupants of all the other cars, mourners, I guess you'd call them, probably, drove past, frowning, pointing and tutting at our inappropriate chatting up routine at a funeral. Obviously, they were overdressed due to protocol and tradition and respect, and we should have handed over both our ice creams to help their stressful and upsetting day. Now, says Thomas, we don't seek forgiveness from the occupants of the cars behind, who must have sat there watching and laughing at us, flirting with presumably the deceased's attractive younger family members, nor from the deceased themselves. Here's the most presumptuous line. Nor from the deceased themselves, who would probably agree life's too short and would rather have been enjoying a bit of flirting anyway. But from yourself, Simon, because this happened 40-odd years ago, and I've meant to send our confession in for a great many years, but never found time to do it. So I thought I would never get the chance, and now I'm doing it. Anyway, we resolved, Paul and I, in future, that if we ever saw beautiful women at a funeral on a hot day, we would say nothing at all. This is obviously... I mean, if you're going to learn anything in life, that's a very good life lesson to take, I think. Nice mix. So, it's Thomas's confession, inappropriate chatting up at what turned out to be a funeral, although he wasn't particularly aware of that fact. Sister Susan.
Just read the room or the street, because obviously you must have seen you were outside a church and there was, a hearse nearby and they were all dressed in black and you should have known. So for that reason, just because you were enamoured with their beauty and you didn't actually look at what was going on, I'm not going to forgive you.
Brother from another country.
I mean, am I missing something? I mean, they started it. They're the girls in the car were the ones saying, I want to have a go in your ice cream. So, is it so wrong? Is it so wrong to chat someone up at a funeral? I think the jury's probably out on that one. Toss a coin, could go either way. But also, I'm going to forgive just for the mention of Brian Robson's goal in the 82 World Cup. One of the fastest, I seem to remember, so well done.
For 30 seconds or something like that?
Yeah.